Hello everyone, I am Tacet, and with the recent addition of the Erskaya Kingdom, I figured it would be a good time to go over kingdom leveling, specifically the star levels and the EXP bar that you see below every single one of these kingdoms. These end up giving you quite a bit of additional rewards, mainly through tribute, but it can also give you additional stats. I am not referring to the standard leveling here, which you spend gold for and get a 1% extra tribute and 1% extra mastery. The ones I'm going to be going over in this video are these, which are the extra golds that you get per day, the extra tribute chance, and the extra tribute rewards, as well as the bonus stats, which is the main one that people tend to aim for since it's the most effective out of all of them. So one thing to note, regardless of how early or late you are in the game, generally leveling these star levels up or something that you do later in the game, midway to later. But one thing to note, regardless of if you're just starting or not, is do not disenchant any troop that you don't have ascended to Mythic yet. Of course, you can do Ascension through here, and unless it says this troop is fully ascended, you should never, ever disenchant any of them. Mainly because the way that the star level works in this system with all of these kingdom leveling, it makes it so every single troop, even the most useless ones, are still viable because you're going to be needing them for this kingdom leveling. So never, ever disenchant any of your troops unless you already have it ascended to Mythic. So do keep that in mind, and regardless of if you think it's 100% useless, you still do want to keep it. So let's go over what this actually is. Let's go over to Kingdom and go over to Power. So everything that you need to know about it. First off, every single troop you get will give you 50 additional points. Every single trait you get will give you 25 additional points, and every single level that you get on any troop within this kingdom will give you 10 additional points. And these are all affiliated with the kingdom itself. And once the power level goes all the way up, you end up going up one. So if you were at like a silver star, you would then go to a gold star, and if you were at double gold, you'd go to triple gold, and so on and so forth for all of them. So you may notice there's some numbers over here too. When you end up reaching 10 plus troops, you end up getting some slightly different values. For 10 troops or higher, you start going to only 10 points for every single new troop. For 30 traits or higher, you start going to 10 points, down from 25. And for the leveling, you go down to 2 points once you have 200 levels in your troop. So it's basically what the maxed out 10 would be all the way down the line. If you had 10 maxed out troops, is when it starts going down, is the easiest way to remember that. Otherwise, you would end up getting the full amount of EXP for both. As far as power leveling a single kingdom, there are 8 steps that you can do. These are my personal preference. They might not be the absolute most optimal. This is what I have happened to do. I've done 3 different accounts now, and this is the method I have done for each one of them as I have tried to focus down kingdoms. Do keep in mind that this goes a little bit against the kind of concept of just going for whatever is the most powerful. This whole list right here is basically for the sole purpose of trying to get these kingdoms as leveled as you possibly can. So first off, you just want to level everything to level 10. This is the easiest thing that you could possibly really do for them. Getting souls isn't too particularly hard. Getting them all to level 10 in a single kingdom is relatively easy. Doing it to all kingdoms is still relatively easy, but of course a little bit more time consuming. And then move on to level 15. This is quite a bit more time consuming than doing it to 10, but still relatively quick. Then trait all of the commons. This is mainly because they are easier to trait. One thing to know about this is when I say commons, rares, and all these words right here, I am referring to their base rarity. If you click on a card, for example, like this Alchemist, even though we have it ascended to Mythic right here, it even says Mythic, it is actually a rare, and it counts as a rare for all intensive purposes, and that means the amount of souls that it costs, as well as the amount of trait stones that it requires, is based on a rare amount. And the lower the base rarity, the cheaper they are. So that is why upgrading things like commons, rares, and ultra rares are really effective for getting kingdom leveling, because they are going to cost you cheaper and give you the same amount of points. So after doing all the commons fully traded, you would then want to go to all of the rares. You will then want to go and level all of your troops to max. When I say max, I mean whatever you can ascend it up to. For example, or level it as far as their ascension. What I'm referring to with this is, let's take an ultra rare, for example. An ultra rare that you have will only be able to level up to level 17. It will not be able to go all the way to 20 because you'll need additional copies of that card to ascend it to Epic, and then to Legendary, and then eventually to Mythic, in which case you can do it to level 20. Commons can only go up to 15, Rare 16, Ultra Rare 17, Epics 18, Legends 19, and of course the max level of Mythics to 20. But for this particular point on number 5, you don't have to really get all of them fully ascended. The only time you ever have to have an entire kingdom maxed out in order to get the bonus is an instance like this kingdom. When they initially add kingdoms, they tend to only do 8 troops in them, and in this instance you do have to have all 8 100% maxed out, all traits, all levels, all ascension, to be able to do it. But of course, as more troops are added to the kingdom, it becomes easier and easier to get these star levels. Then after that, you go for step number 6, which is just getting the first trait on all of your troops. The first trait on every single troop is always the cheapest, even for higher rarity troops. Though of course on higher rarity troops they are still more expensive, but out of all 3 of their traits, of course the first one is the cheapest out of all of them. And then just go upgrade all of your ultra rares, and then from there you should pretty much already be at kingdom level 5, assuming you have 10 troops within that kingdom. But otherwise you would just trait the most useful ones, like if there's a good legend, a good epic, or anything like that. Generally you don't really upgrade epics. Epics for the most part are really inefficient in every single way. They're bad for kingdom leveling EXP. They're also really bad in most instances in teams. There's a really few exceptions to that. Most notably would probably be a Mercy. I actually can't think of any other off the top of my head as far as epics that are worth trading, but Mercy is one of the most common ones that do. For the most part, like 95% of epics, for the most part, base epics that is, do not need to be traded. The main reason why this is they have a much higher trait stone cost than a ultra rare, almost to the point that they're almost a legendary trait stone cost. But unlike legends and mythics, they don't have any unique traits, so a good majority of them are really bad unless they have some kind of amazing synergy, like for example Mercy, who has Empowered with a really good ability. And yeah, that's basically everything you need to know about the power levels. It's definitely something you want to focus on. The most notable rewards that you'll end up getting are double tribute reward. What this does is it doubles your tribute thingy. If we go over here, every single kingdom of course has its tribute that you can claim every single hour. This is done just by clicking on your home kingdom. I did have this up earlier, but this is like the 5th recording of this, keep failing it. But yeah, you just click on your kingdom, you get your tribute, and yeah, you just go from there. If there's that percent chance, whatever you have there, that it will end up rolling, that you will indeed end up getting this tribute right here, and that can be claimed at maximum once per hour from your home kingdom. What the tribute chance does is a lot more powerful than tribute reward, which is one of the main reasons why 3 and 5 tend to be the 2 biggest star levels that you want to try aiming down, because both of them exponentially increase the amount of extra reward that you end up getting. At double tribute chance, essentially what happens is the chance that you have here will go from 10%, assuming you have it at level 10, all the way up to 20%, essentially doubling itself. This is particularly useful because on when you actually end up claiming your tribute from your home kingdom, multiple can trigger at once, and this gives additional rewards. For multiple that trigger above 1, or you know, any multiple, you'll basically get however many tributes you got -1 in gems, and how many tributes you got -1 times 2 in gold keys. So for example, if you got a 6 tribute from your hourly tribute reward, if you got a 6, that would then be 5 gems and 10 gold keys. And of course this is quite useful, particularly on the gem side of it, because you can end up accumulating quite a few extra gems per day just from casually playing and just taking the tribute every single hour as you're just playing. I wouldn't really go too far out of your way to ever go for tributes. It's nice to have, but it's not something that rewards you enough that it really punishes you if you don't take it. And as far as the other reward, of course, the absolute best one is the extra stats. This is useful literally everywhere. This works everywhere except for Arena. It's the only location where these bonus stats do not actually work. But for Guild Wars, when they come back, for PvP, and for questing, and just for everything else in the game, other than Arena, this extra bonus stat does work, so it is really good to get them up. The most notable ones to do are all of the magic kingdoms and all of the attack kingdoms. Let's see if I can actually remember them all. All the magic kingdoms are the first one you normally want to do. This goes for both the standard leveling as well as for star leveling. These include Blighted Lands, Darkstone, Zolkari, Karkaroth, and Silverglade. The way that you can check these, of course, if you don't know which kingdom is, just simply click on it, click over to kingdom, and then you can see the skill bonus all the way over to the right. Magic is always the best to go for first, simply because this increases the effectiveness of almost every ability in the game. If you ever see like a damage or anything, almost every troop ends up using something on their ability to boost it up, such as Namira right here, who's boosting up her true damage from that. Valkyrie gets more souls, and there's just a lot of troops that end up utilizing it. About, I think, 85, 90-ish% of all troops in the game end up using magic, and most of them use it more effective than any other stat in the game. As far as attack kingdoms, those include Blackhawk, Wild Plains, Pride Lands, Forest of Thorns, and I'm gonna miss the fifth one right now. I don't think it was the Vineyard Fields. This is why. Oh, and Suncrest. Yes, I remember now. Suncrest, that other useless kingdom. But yeah, to reiterate, since I forgot, brain fade for a moment. Blackhawk, Wild Plains, Pride Lands, Suncrest, and Forest of Thorns are the 5 attack kingdoms. So those 10 total kingdoms are the first ones you want to be leveling, as well as the first ones you want to be getting their kingdom stars on. So yeah, that's pretty much everything you'll need to know about kingdoms as far as their kingdom leveling with these little star system things. Again, it's not really something you have to worry about too much, though. As you get later in the game, it is almost mandatory to start trying to get 5 gold stars on some of your kingdoms, because once you start reaching about level 500, you will notice a excessive stat difference between you and your enemies if you aren't really trying to focus on getting as many 5 gold stars as you can for those extra stats. But anyways, that'll wrap it up for this video. If you still have any other questions about kingdom leveling or anything of the such, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.